All right, let's dive right into this explainer. We're going to uncover the absolutely bizarre, true story of a spherical micronation sitting right in the heart of Austria. Seriously, this is wild. Today, we're looking at a quirky architectural experiment that somehow escalated into a full-blown secessionist movement. We're talking about the Republic of Kugelmugel. So, picture this. You're walking through Vienna's famous Prater Park. You stroll right past the giant Ferris wheel, past the roller coasters, and then you stumble upon this incredibly serious, just bizarre sight. It really poses our central mystery for today, right? What exactly is an independent sovereign republic doing wedged right between family rides and cotton candy stands? Let me paint a picture for you. Just imagine a massive wooden spherical house, and it is completely enclosed by this grim, heavy barbed wire fence. It sits proudly at its very own self-declared address, number 1 Anti-Fascism's Plots, or Anti-Fascism Square. It's got official border signs, formal warnings, the whole shebang. It has this undeniably serious presence, but it's just completely surrounded by the cheerful, noisy chaos of an amusement park. Now, the crucial thing to understand here is that this isn't just some empty roadside attraction. It's not a forgotten prop. The Republic of Kugelmugel actually boasts over 600 citizens. Now, sure, citizenship here is what you'd call idealistic rather than physical. I mean, obviously, you can't cram 600 people inside an 8-meter sphere. But these folks are deeply dedicated to the cause. And get this, even today, if you want to cross the border into the Republic, you need an official entry visa. And yeah, that's going to cost you 15 euros.
Section 1. The Sphera 2000 Project.
So let's look at the guy behind all this, an Austrian artist named Edwin Lippberger. His core philosophy from way back in 1971 was honestly fascinating. He looked around at the world and just saw boxes. He believed that square houses literally force us to live behind fake facades. But spheres? To Lippberger, the sphere was the absolute ultimate shape of cosmic harmony. Think about it. He argued that everything in nature turns. The Earth is round, life is cyclical, right? So naturally, human beings are meant to live in spheres. He named this dream project Sphera 2000, and he actually set about building a globe exactly 7.68 meters in diameter. And you know, Lippberger made a really compelling architectural argument here. This wasn't just some abstract art project for him. A curved surface actually provides the greatest space utilization and structural stability. Let's put that into perspective. His sphere had a volume of roughly 236 cubic meters. If you were to build a traditional square cube with that exact same volume, it would require 110 square meters more surface area than the sphere. That is a massive difference. He basically saw square homes as a huge waste of material and just fundamentally disconnected from natural, fluid life.
Section 2. Declaring Independence.
Okay, so the escalation here was incredibly rapid. Back in 1971, Lippberger and his son actually built the sphere out in a peaceful meadow in Kutzelsdorf, just south of Vienna. But, well, there was a tiny problem. Local Austrian law specifically banned spherical dwellings. No way around it. When the local authorities ordered him to demolish his illegal structure, Lippberger absolutely did not back down. Instead, in 1976, he doubled down and declared his sphere an independent township. And eventually, it became the Sovereign Republic of Kugelmugel, which, by the way, loosely translates to sphere on a hill. This one act of resistance sparked a crazy chain reaction. It actually sent him to jail in 1979 and ultimately forced his entire nation into exile by 1982. To protect his beloved artwork from the wrecking ball, Lippberger just went all in on statehood. He meticulously crafted the actual instruments of a nation. We're talking issuing official passports to his supporters. He created custom stamps, and he would sometimes literally paste his own face right over official Austrian postage stamps. But probably the most provocative move? He erected his own street signs all around the sphere, and these signs looked incredibly similar to the official signage used by the actual Austrian government. And guys, here is the absolute peak of the absurdity. Those imitation street signs, they were the final straw for the authorities. The situation completely spiraled out of control. It got to the point where an estimated 25 heavily armed police officers, complete with police dogs, literally raided this tiny spherical republic. And the punchline to all of this? When they finally breached the perimeter, they found out the president wasn't even home. He was just down the road, hanging out at the local pub. But listen, this wasn't just a big joke. There were very real, severe consequences to this whole artistic intervention. Lippberger was dragged into court, and actually sentenced to 10 weeks in an Austrian prison, all because of those fake street signs. And he really served time. He spent 8 weeks behind bars before the actual president of Austria, Rudolf Kirchkliger, stepped in and gave him a presidential pardon. But Lippberger's record, it was never fully cleared. And that fueled his lifelong belief that he was essentially an oppressed political prisoner of the Austrian state. Section 3. Exile to the Praeber. So at this point, the Austrian state realized they had a massive public relations nightmare on their hands. The public conversation had shifted entirely to the rights of artistic freedom. So to solve this hot potato problem, in the early 1980s, an Austrian politician named Helmut Zilk brokered a compromise. The sphere would be saved from demolition, which was great, but it had to be completely dismantled into 128 separate wooden elements and moved to the Vienna Prater amusement park. Lippberger actually agreed to this, mainly because he was promised access to tap water, electricity, and sewers. But guess what? Those promises were never fulfilled. So the sphere was saved, sure, but it was essentially trapped, totally without utilities, right next to a Ferris wheel. As you can imagine, this betrayal left Lippberger deeply, deeply bitter. In fact, if you look closely at the windows of the sphere today, you can still see these fading quotes, like this mysterious architectural critique that just says, "What are diangles?" For the rest of his life, Lippberger waged an absolute paper war against the city of Vienna. He went as far as issuing an official state decree that formally revoked Helmut Zilk's honorary Kugelmugel citizenship for treason. So what had started out as this optimistic, harmonious architectural experiment had basically hardened into a permanent, angry monument against bureaucratic overreach. Section 4. The Kugelmugel Legacy. To truly wrap our heads around Kugelmugel, we kind of have to look at the actual academic definition of a micronation. Researchers note that these entities very often arise as a direct reaction to modern life. Anthropologists suggest that as we all spend more and more time in these anonymous non-places, like airports or even just wandering the internet, people start to feel atomized and disconnected. So creating a micronation, even if it's literally just a tiny wooden sphere, is a way to reclaim a sense of place. It's a way to build a new community and to peacefully disengage from a wider political system that just feels too alienating and rigid. And when academics actually classify these micronations into a typology, it really puts Kugelmugel's seriousness into perspective. Like, type 1? That's just a temporary joke. On the other extreme, type 5 involves entities that are actively challenging international law, like the famous Principality of Sealand. But Kugelmugel, it's officially classified right in the middle as a type 3. That means it's a long-term, serious, multi-person entity with established local publicity. It's proof that Lippberger's sphere really did evolve. It went from a simple local building dispute into a widely recognized, enduring cultural phenomenon. Which brings us right up to the present day. Now, Edwin Lippberger sadly passed away in 2015, but his republic, it absolutely lives on. Under the leadership of their current president, Linda Treiber, Kugelmugel is experiencing this massive cultural revival. Their borders actually officially reopened to tourists back in June of 2024. They even hosted a parallel expo in 2025 celebrating international art, and get this, they perform these universal weddings there now. But don't think they've lost their edge. The Republic still publishes manifestos. They claim the city of Vienna is actively trying to silence their radical legacy by just treating them as another quirky park attraction. So, what does this all mean? The next time you see a strange roadside attraction, maybe stop and ask yourself what it really represents. Because is Kugelmugel just a quirky tourist trap nestled away in a Vienna amusement park? Or is it the ultimate, unbroken symbol of an artist's absolute freedom to live outside the box? Literally. It is a fascinating testament to how far one person will go to defend their vision against the rigid, square edges of society. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer. I really hope this changes how you view the shape of the world around you. Keep exploring, and I'll see you next time.